To call this good is me clickbaiting, but I don't think it's bad, and I do think a lot of people are acting in understandably very poor faith. Actually, let's start there. Marvel has completely alienated all fans of The Amazing Spider-Man. This has been going on since 2008. The editors and higher-ups are big dumb idiots and think the way to immortalize a character is to completely halt their growth and make them a permanent teenager. This is absolutely ridiculous. I know there isn't exactly a handbook on how to write a multi-decade long story, except, wait a second, yes there is! You think the first 500 or so issues of ASM are just something to sneeze at? That's a lot of friggin' years, man! And what was happening that whole time? Oh, they spent a while on each part of the character's life until it was the proper time for them to move into the next phase? Oh, okay. Or hey, what about One Piece? It's got like 1,300 chapters, and those characters constantly grow, or at the very least put into interesting situations where their personalities get to shine. Oh, but that's supposed to end someday, and we can't have that. God forbid you just make something good that could be enjoyed by civilization for the rest of its days. No, no, no. We have to make something dog shit until society crumbles, lest our money printing machine run out of ink. People grow and change. If you force the main character to not, then you're going to alienate every single human being that could potentially be interested. And even if they are interested, I guarantee that it will be in spite of that. But I also understand that Marvel is a business, but the business of art is not the same as a normal business, and when you try to run it with the same values, you are going to eventually crumble. Art has to be good. Being good means taking chances. I know businesses don't generally like to risk things when they don't have a good reason to, but good lord, if the current state of ASM isn't good enough of a reason, then I don't know what is. How long does Ultimate Spider-Man have to outsell ASM before you learn the lesson? The only valid quote-unquote business for art, in my opinion, is marketing. The rest is pointless meddling that doesn't benefit anybody other than the out-of-touch moron who won't take the hint that not a soul enjoys their contributions. All of this applies to Spider-Man. From the get-go, people have been against what Marvel is doing, and Marvel refuses to listen. The quality of ASM has been doing nothing but drop since 2008, and if you've been keeping up with the series that whole time, then I completely understand being jaded. I'd even say that you've earned it. But you also have to accept that you are being jaded. You're letting the business dictate how you feel about the artist. At least that's how I felt reading most of the negative reviews on this current work of Joe Kelly's. I think everyone is harder on Joe Kelly than they should be. Look, I don't think this is the pinnacle of storytelling or nothing, but I've seen some obviously misguided reviews. For example, in issue 64, the events all lead to one big cosmic and thematic punchline. Peter may have just gotten a win, but this is the 8th deaths of Spider-Man, not the 4th. So when Peter dies in the next issue, I saw people blaming Joe Kelly. What? My brother in Christ, please, be reasonable. Peter dying in 65 was set up by Justina Ireland at the end of 64, not Joe Kelly. What, did you want him to ignore her books? Not add on to her lovely contributions? Set up, meet payoff. Honestly, I think the Spidey office is just trying to hype her up by giving her the 2 home run issues. And that's not to discredit her talent. She rose to the task and made the issues probably the best they physically can be given the current state of things. What I am saying is that people immediately dismiss Joe Kelly, and statistically, there are going to be issues in this arc where Peter doesn't die. Those issues are the ones people are going to like the best because we're all over the Spidey torture porn. Joe Kelly is an established writer, Justina Ireland isn't, at least not for Spidey, so give her the issues people who are naturally going to be more forgiving towards. It'll make her book look better, and people will actually be willing to give her a shot. And I'm glad they did, because she was spectacular. But Joe Kelly, oh ho ho! He's public enemy number 1 because he's taking over ASM and they never choose anyone good to do that. Like, yeah, I gave Kelly crap with that last issue, but if you think he isn't going to resolve it by having Peter prove that life has meaning, then you're just wrong. Yeah, who's gonna write that home run issue? Justina Ireland? What? Being a smartass isn't going to help me prove my point, but it is very fun and I'm not going to stop doing it. Look, I do take issue with the idea of Spider-Man even thinking that life has no meaning after every single thing he's been through, but I also get that they're building up towards an inspiring Spidey story where the hero is at their lowest point, proves life matters, and readers can go to sleep feeling a little bit better about themselves. It's just that the catalyst for that emotional journey doesn't feel quite right for Spider-Man as a character, which is where the point of this video starts to come in. I think that they're going to stick the superhero landing and make Deadpool proud, but all of you jaded people have zero faith. I get why that's the case. And hey, if you want to discredit everything that I'm saying, just simply point out that I'm not even a year deep into reading comics, and on top of that, I barely read any Spider-Man comics. I want to keep up with ASM. I want to discuss future releases. Heck, I even want to try and be positive about it. But I need you to know that when I inevitably make fun of the latest issue, I'm doing it because this is a failing business that deserves to be mocked, and not because the artists working hard to squeeze anything even somewhat decent out of the current system weren't able to meet the expectations they are literally not allowed to meet. This arc hasn't been amazing, but Spider-Man literally can't be until the bigwigs leave us the hell alone. For the unfortunate circumstances, I think Joe Kelly and Justina Ireland have made something that will overall be serviceable. And that is, unfortunately, impressive in its own right. I appreciate you for listening, and please subscribe if you want to watch me continue my comic journey. Thank you very much for your time, and have a wonderful day. My phone fell.